Batic. Becky, great ball in. Ellen White for Manchester City.
Decent hit, wonderful goal. The first ever in a Manchester derby in FAWSL is an absolute blinder scored by Caroline Weir.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of MCW Fancast. I'm Emma, thanks for listening. On this week's show we are joined by Dave and Jayne from the OSC as we recap on the week's fixtures in both the Champions League against Barcelona in Monza and that 1-0 win at the Academy Stadium against Reading in the WSL. We'll also be looking optimistically ahead to Barcelona, the second leg tie at the Academy Stadium in the Champions League. Can City pull back that 3-0 deficit? Speaking ahead of Wednesday's game, hear from head coach Gareth Taylor and Samantha Mewis.
Well, I think we proved that we can score goals this season. You know, we're right up there in goals scored. I think we're the first team in the league to 50 goals. So we are more than capable. You know, we create a lot of chances against Barcelona. You know, we've given ourselves an uphill task. But, you know, in terms of me being confident enough to say that we can achieve it, yeah. Is it going to be difficult? Of course, but for sure, we'll be going for it. I think when we looked at the stats outside of it being a 3-0 game, the stats suggested that it was close in terms of chances, close in terms of expected goals. And that gives us perspective. We're not daft. We know that the game's played in both boxes and we need to make sure we don't give anything away and we need to make sure we take our chances. And that's going to have to be key tomorrow night. I think we're fairly calm in so much as if we don't score early on in the first 25 minutes, there's still an opportunity. I think an early goal would be nice, but I think the longer the game goes on and we're still in touch, this team has proved that they can score goals in quick succession. Like I said previously, I think, you know, we need a lot of elements to go our way tomorrow night, but we'll be trying our best and we're definitely going to be going for it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Steph, I think I mentioned post Reading that it's probably going to be a couple of weeks. So that obviously rules her out of the England camp, unfortunately. But, you know, at least we've got a bit of a kind of time scale where we might be able to get her back on pitch. With Demi, yeah, it's just ongoing, that one. We're just waiting to hear the report on the scan just to see what that looks like for her. But again, she won't feature in tomorrow's squad, unfortunately. So, yeah, but outside of that, pretty much everyone has checked in okay.
I think our win this weekend really brought us together. I think having kind of a dramatic late game win like that, where Hempo just did something so sick, it really brings the group together when you know you can fight hard and pull something out. I feel like in moments like that, it's like we all see that the clock is ticking away and we know we have this other mountain to climb Wednesday, but to see the way that everybody kept fighting in the Reading game and the way that nobody gave up believing that we were going to score, I think that just demonstrates how resilient we are. And it made me really excited to get to play with the group again and to get to showcase that we have a lot more fight in us. So I think the mood has been good and really positive coming off the game. And even like at practice, we're having fun. We've had like some laughs. Everybody's staying after practice. Everybody wants to keep working on things, keep getting better. We're all just really excited for the opportunity. And I think that this is a really special group. So I'm just excited that we have another opportunity to get out there and fight for it. Yeah. I mean, in terms of like comebacks, sure, I've had some where maybe we've been down by a deficit and come back. I have a particular club game. It was like a state championship in mind. I think we were actually down 3-0 at halftime. We came back to win 5-3. And my dad was, this is a silly story, but my dad was the assistant coach of that team. And I remember him saying to us at halftime, the first thing you need to do is believe that you're going to come back. And I think that this group absolutely has that. I look around the locker room, I look around at the girls, and I can see that we all are so hungry for it. So I'm feeling really optimistic going into it and just really excited for the chance to fight for something that is definitely going to be hard. Like, we're going to really have to grind it out. And I think we all look at each other and see that we have what it takes to really grind it out. And I think we're just like pumped and fired up.
Dave, Jayne, thank you so much for joining me. How are you both doing? Are you keeping well?
Hi, Emma. Yeah, lovely to speak to you again. Yeah, we're fine. Thank you. Hope you are.
Yeah, not too bad. Just busy. Obviously, the podcast didn't go out on Friday, so we're playing catch up a little bit. But we'll be covering the Barcelona game, talking about Reading, and looking ahead to the second leg at the Academy Stadium. Can City turn it round? Let's start with Barcelona last week. Obviously, difficult leg away in Monza in Italy. 3-0 the final score. So big deficit to bring back to the Academy Stadium. But how did you feel at the end of the game?
Well, disappointed obviously with the result. I would have liked. It was a strange game. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Barcelona were excellent. I thought they were a better team probably on the day. They are a quality side. But looking back at the game at the end of it, we definitely could and should have scored a couple of goals maybe. And away goals can make a massive difference in a tie like this. So I was a little bit disappointed. Not so much that we got beat, but that we got beat 3-0. You know, that we didn't manage. I mean, for instance, let's say for argument's sake we'd have lost 4-2. Say they'd have taken an extra chance, we'd have scored our penalty and took one of the other chances. You then would think, well, yeah, it's still a tall order because they're a good side to turn this round. But you'd have had something to bite on. But 3-0, I wouldn't say it flattered them. I was just disappointed that we didn't manage to get a goal, an away goal on the board. So that was my biggest disappointment in it, really. But yeah, they were a quality side.
Yeah, I agree. I think that third goal at the end was a bit of a killer for us. You know, it makes it a real mountain to climb for the second leg.
Yeah, I mean, we had our moments in the game and sort of missed opportunities once again, but you know, with the penalty, there was so much pressure on Chloe to obviously score that, and unfortunately couldn't convert it. But you know, it favours obviously Barcelona heading into the game, but you know, 3 goals, you know, City can do it, but it is a bit of a tall order, really. I think Gareth obviously speaking at full time. I kind of can't get my head around his post-match comments a little bit. I kind of feel at this point, heading into the game, you probably play it down rather than play it up, and not put that pressure so much on the team.
No, I think the players want to hear a positive side that, you know, they can go on and do it. There's nothing worse, I suppose, if you're a player and you think, well, even the manager don't believe in us, you know, that's not going to give you the confidence you want going into the game. So, you know, whatever he thinks, you know, on the inside might be different to the story that he tells the world on the outside. You know, he wants everyone to think, you know, positive as we can be. It's doable, don't get me wrong. It's a massively tall order, but it's not an impossibility. So I think from the players' point of view, they'll want somebody who's positive and thinking, do you know what, we can go and do this and give it the best shot.
Yeah, I agree. You know, a manager's got to stick by his players, and there were positives from that first leg, definitely. And like you've just said, Emma, if Chloe had converted that penalty, you never know how that last half hour would have gone in the game. You know, it would have put them under a little bit of pressure because they don't concede many goals, and suddenly they would have done. You know, so I did think, like I said before, that we could have scored. So I do think that we are above the quality that they're used to playing. I know they've got a fantastic record and they've scored so many goals and they've only conceded, you know, literally a few, but they don't play a team as good as us every week. And we have got an excellent home record. Even sometimes when we don't play too well, we seem, you know, we find a way and we get a result at home. So what I'd like to see is, yes, it's a tall order, obviously. They're 3-0 down. It's very unlikely, you know, that a team like Barcelona are going to come and say lose 4-0. But you go for it and you give it your best shot. And let's just make it a good 90 minutes on the day. And maybe even if we only just win the leg, and it'll lift everybody to beat a team of Barcelona's quality. Because it still takes some doing, and that'll still take a good performance. So maybe that's what Gareth's getting at. He wants a good performance on the day. He doesn't want them to collapse and think, oh, well, we're out anyway, and lose 3-0 again, damaging confidence. Yeah. You know, so there might be something of that in it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got quality in abundance throughout this squad, and you know, we've shown that we can turn up. You know, I mean, look at the Reading game. You know, we fought to the very end to get something out of that game, and we did. You know, and there's nothing to say that City can't do that. on Wednesday. Big ask, yeah, but we've got the players to do it. Do you know what I mean? And I just kind of feel that maybe people have written us off already in terms of, this second leg and going out and getting a result, but there is absolutely no reason why, like you said, on our own home ground and our own home turf, where, like you said, you've got a good record, we can draw on that and definitely carry all the positives from, the last few months into this game. City really want to compete in the Champions League, and, we've got, like I said, the quality within the squad to do that.
Well, definitely. I think one thing that's probably in the favour is now, outside of us City fans, nobody's expecting us to do anything, are they? The outside world are not going to expect anyone but Barcelona to go through now. Probably rightly so. Fair enough. It's been a look. So we've got a bit of a free hit, really, to go out on Wednesday and just have a go. And you never know. If we score in the first 5 or 10 minutes, it just puts a little bit of pressure on them. They are a quality. I'm not taking anything away from Barcelona. They were quality. They're a good side. You can see that. They might even end up winning this tournament. But, we can put them under some pressure and convert our chances. That was the biggest bugbear for me in the first leg. We didn't convert our own chances. As well as they played, they still allowed us to have chances. And if we'd have stuck a couple of those in, I think we could be looking at a different scenario now. But almost treat Wednesday like a one-off, a free hit, go for it. Let's put in a good performance, win on the day, see what that does for us. Yeah. That's the way I'd look at it.
It is going to be really important, though, for City to come out early and get that early goal in this game.
Yeah, I think so. They've got to come out positively early. Like you say, if Barcelona were to come out and get the first goal, then that's basically going to probably kill off any hope of anything. So come out. If we can score an early goal in the first 15, 20 minutes or so, and it really opens the tie up.
Yeah.
I think we should comment as well, as well as talking just negatively about the first leg, which obviously, we're bound to. There was some positives. I mean, the performance of Ellie Roadbrook was outstanding. Absolutely. The goalkeeping there was just world class. There's no other way for it. And then in the second half, when we were running at them, I thought Lauren Hemp scared them to death at times. I don't think they face a player like her very often.
Lauren Hemp, I mean, we say it week in, week out, and, we've just drawn on, obviously, those positives there, but Lauren Hemp has been sensational this season, and she's certainly sort of given a really good account of herself this season, and why she should be up there as, possibly contender for player of the season again. She's just absolutely fantastic. I mean, we'll talk about Reading shortly, but for me, I know Chloe Kelly scored the goal against Reading, but for me it was the Lauren Hemp goal. She put all the work in. It was Chloe that got the finish, but just give it to Lauren for the effort.
It was unbelievable. We should just have a 5-minute space on your podcast every week just to talk about Lauren Hemp.
The Lauren Hemp corner.
And then we can talk about her every week because, she always comes up.
What has Lauren done this week?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like you say, we'll talk about Reading in a bit, but she's been sensational all season, Lauren. For a young player, the way she's developing and the way she's maturing as a footballer, it's a joy to watch her every week.
And the confidence.
It's interesting what you say there, Emma. It's interesting what you've just said there about the goal against Reading. Because last night I was flicking through Twitter and Jayne said to me, "Oh, let me just see Lauren's goal again." And I said, "Lauren didn't score. Chloe scored. It was Chloe's goal." You know what I mean? And I think everybody was looking at it almost like as Lauren's goal. So let's give Chloe a bit of credit for getting in the middle.
Yeah, to be fair. But come on, Chloe Kelly. Surely there's a bit of Chloe Kelly there that's saying, "Yeah, you can have that one, Lauren."
Oh, well, you imagine if she hadn't made that run in, Lauren had done that bit of skill, got it across, and no one was there. We would have all been going, "Oh, if only she'd made that run in." So, she did, didn't she? And it was great. Oh, it was fantastic. But Lauren, yes. I mean, when you consider we didn't actually have Lauren, she got injured in the Community Shield and then didn't play again until I think it was December, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was December when she came back.
Couple of months,
like you just said, I'm sure we'll talk a bit later about our, Player of the Year nominations and things. I'm sure she's in with a chance, which for a player who basically missed half the season is quite amazing, really. But you're right, she's definitely in the running again because she's just one of them players that can win you a game there and then. And she gets you off the edge, she gets you off your seat. She gets you on the edge of your seat because when she gets the ball, she's just fantastic to watch. And you don't know what she's going to do because she's so good. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Is that the bit of quality though that we need come Wednesday? That little bit of class that, you know, just comes from nowhere for us to potentially go on and win this game and progress in the Champions League. Is that what it's going to take?
I think that is what it's going to take. And, you know, we have got players on the pitch who can produce that. We've got Caroline Weir, who, you know, can produce worldies if she gets the ball on the edge of the box. We've got so many players who are of that top quality, who are able to give those moments of magic and do those special little things that get you goals and win your game. So yeah, hopefully if we can start really positively on Wednesday and do something like that, then you just never know.
Yeah, if Sam Mewis is on top form and Caroline Weir, as James just said, Lauren, Chloe flying at them down the lines. If everyone's on the top of the game, I'm pretty sure what I will say is that Barcelona don't face that sort of quality on a weekly basis. So maybe, you know, it might be a bit of a shock to the system to them. So yeah, go for it. Like I say, just go for it. Treat it as a one-off game almost to see how it goes. But go for it.
It's unbelievable, really. If we were probably having this conversation last season, there's probably one or two players that we turn to, you know, for those goals, for those moments of quality. Yeah. But there are so many players contributing within this side at the moment that are really playing their part. You know, it, like you said, it could be anyone. And, you know, we've seen so much rotation in the squad, especially over the last few games. It's hard to really know who's going to be sort of involved come Wednesday. I mean, Lucy Bronzer's got that massive conch on her head. You know, and you know, though she said yes, she's okay, you know, we've seen players, you know, not in the women's game, but just looking at the men's game overall, that have had those sort of knocks that haven't been involved in the next couple of games because of concussion and things like that. So is that a bit of a worry?
Well, obviously, yeah, it was a terrible knock on the, like you said, the bump on top of her head was massive, wasn't it? So I'm sure they'll have a look at that. And if there is a danger, you know, I'm sure that safety would be first and she wouldn't play. I know she tweeted, you know, pretty much that she's okay, but as you say, it might be down to the doctors that and have a look at it. I'm sure they'll make the right decision come Wednesday. At least it's Wednesday, not Tuesday, so she's got an extra day there, and I'm sure they'll look at all that. Safety comes first, obviously.
And it was a bit of a disappointment to see Demi go off as well with what looked like an injury. She went straight down the tunnel. It looked to be a groin, I think. Gareth Taylor talking at full time.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully it's just maybe slightly precautionary from Demi's point of view. She's coming back from an injury. So hopefully maybe it's, you know, just feeling a twinge and then off the pitch you go and get treatment, and we'll see her back, because, you know, it's great to see her back playing. We've been missing her for quite a while this season now. And when she's not there, you forget what a great player, you know, the attacking force that she brings as well as the defending side of the game. She's a really great all-round player, Demi, and she's someone that you miss.
Yesterday, in particular, you know, she played really well. I think you mentioned it on Twitter actually, Dave, that her and Lucy Bronze seem to be playing a lot higher up, and they were well involved in those attacks up front.
I think Demi's one of their unsung heroes. I don't think you notice how good she is until she's not there. You know, you very rarely see her get a Man of the Match award. You very rarely, but she's an 8, 9 out of 10 every week. So she's definitely one of the most consistent players. And she's been around a long time. She's very experienced now, Demi, as well. People forget that. So personally, I wouldn't swap her for anyone in that position. I think she's excellent in that position. And a fit Demi Stokes is great for the squad, because it gives Gareth even more options as well than at the back. Because he seems to like to. He states that he sees Alex Greenwood's best position as that centre half position that she's in. He says it aids the attacking out from the back to have Alex there rather than at the left back. So when a lot of people, when we signed Alex Greenwood, it was going to be, was it going to be her or Demi that plays? I think Gareth's looked at it that he likes Alex as a centre half almost. He actually stated that. So yeah, that's an interesting change to what we all thought when we first signed Alex Greenwood.
Yeah, it is quite interesting, because, like I said, we've not really seen that until only recently. With obviously Demi coming back into the squad, to see how those two players would be utilised within the squad, and yeah, it does work. Surprisingly, I've really been impressed with what Alex Greenwood has offered the side really this season so far, and I think she has been a really good signing for the team, and Abby Dalkemper as well. You know, she seems to slot right in at centre back. And obviously without Steph at the moment, I do feel she is a bit of a miss within the squad. You know, having that sort of leader that I think we do need. You know, I felt at times that there was a little bit of, you know, we needed that sort of really strong leader, that vocal point on the pitch, you know, to kind of carry the team through it, kind of thing. I did feel that was kind of missing, especially yesterday against Reading.
Yeah, I think, you know, Steph doesn't miss many games. Steph doesn't miss many games of football. So I think it probably is noticeable to the players on the pitch when she's not there, because you know that you can hear her and she's constantly talking. She's constantly kind of talking to the team, talking to the players while she's playing on the pitch during the game. So I'm sure they will miss that side of it when she's not there. You know, we've got other players who are great leaders who are on the pitch as well, you know. I think I saw Lucy Bronze kind of doing a little pre-match chat with the team and doing all that, and then with the armband, you know that she's a leader. We have got those players who are still there on the pitch, but Steph Houghton is you know, she's the captain and she's been doing it for so long. She's so good at it, and she's so good at getting the team motivated and things like that. So I think it's something that they will miss.
I'm sure she'll be in and around the dressing room and everything on Wednesday, because she was yesterday. I'm sure she, you know, she's there. Obviously, she didn't travel to Monza, which obviously, because of the restrictions and things, is probably the right thing to do, because she wasn't playing. But yesterday, I noticed she was on the pitch in the huddle. She was in the dressing room. I think Gareth mentioned she was in there at half-time and before the game. So I'm sure she'll be involved in that respect on Wednesday, and talking to people, and, you know, giving her thoughts, which, as Jayne said, you know, they're so used to that, because Steph's always been there. She's just not missed many games at all over the last few years. So it must be quite odd. But it's interesting what you said there, Emma. I think Abigail Kemper, I don't think she's had the credit from the wider media, how well she's played since she's come in. I always think it's difficult for a player to come in January, because it's not the start of the season. You don't get a pre-season and get to know you straight into the nitty-gritty end of a season if you join a club in January. And I think that's a bit harder. And yet she's slotted straight in as if she's been there for years. Yeah.
It's like she started the season with us, really.
I've been really impressed with her.
Yeah, really I have as well. To be honest. I was just going to say, it was quite funny yesterday, because when the team sheet got given out of the game, it was actually Demi Stokes that was named captain on the team sheet. So it was quite interesting to see who was actually going to lead the team out. And I think as well, because, you know, Kira did lead the team out, but because she wore a blue armband, you couldn't really see whether or not it was Demi or Kira in the end. But yeah, it was great to see Kira lead the squad out. You know, she's a true leader, you know, someone that, you know, we spoke about at length, and it's great to have Kira really involved, you know, because potentially she could be the future captain for the club.
Yeah, that's it. So, you know, these experiences, while it's not good to not have Steph on the pitch, these experiences are kind of what will help to shape the captains of the future as much as the ones that we're using today.
Well, it could be. I agree with Jayne about Kira. I think she could end up even be captain of England as well, because she's definitely captain material, and has been since a young age. She's a leader. That's what you want, leaders on the pitch.
Definitely. So let's talk about Reading then yesterday. Did you feel that we were going to get the goal in the end? It certainly left it a little bit late.
I was hopeful. I kept counting down, thinking, well, we've still got half an hour to go here, and then it's, well, we've still got 20 minutes to go here, and it was like, we've only got 10 minutes to go here. We need to.
Yeah. When does the panic start setting in? I would say 80 minutes.
When I got to 80 minutes, I was like, right, this is like getting to the point now where I'm getting worried. Before that, I'm like, oh, there's still time. Don't worry, there's still time, because, you know, we were getting the chances. We were spending a lot of time in that final third of the pitch. It's just, for one reason, you know, their goalie had a great game, and then we hit the post, and we're putting them wide, and we're putting them over. It was just one of those games where you think, oh, is it not going to be our day today? Is it going to be one of those days where they won't go in? But thankfully, Lauren had different ideas and stepped up for us.
I think I looked at when the Barcelona game was drawn, when they did the draw, I looked at the dates when the two Barcelona games were, and I saw this Reading game in the middle of them. And I said to Jayne, that could be a real tough game, that, because they'll be focused whatever happens over the Barcelona, obviously, because it's the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And Reading are just the sort of team that have given us problems at home in the past. They've beat us, they've drawn with us. You know, I think we haven't beat them the last 2 times they've been to Manchester. We haven't beat them. And I watched Reading a few weeks ago when they beat United on the, at United on the telly. And I thought, the Reading are the sort of team that on the day they can beat anybody. You know, they're that sort of team. So it was a worrying fixture for me. And I had a feeling it'd be a tough game. I think that's how it turned out, because they're a good side when they want to be, Reading. They tend to sit in the middle of the table, but on the day they can beat teams at the top. I've seen them do it a number of times. So I was really worried. And then, like Jayne said, counting down half an hour to go, 20 minutes ago, I was thinking about the Everton game when Kira scored about the 80th. And I remember looking at the clock yesterday and thought, Kira had scored by now against Everton, so we're even later now. And I'm thinking, she had done 5 minutes and all this, But luckily, like Jayne said, that's that one moment of brilliance from Lauren just opened them up. Absolutely fantastic play.
Yeah, it definitely had all the feels of Everton. It really did. And like you said, moment of brilliance from Lauren Hemp. I mean, that vision, the confidence. I mean, she must have got about 3 or 4 players, I think, to work the ball into Chloe Kelly, and for Chloe to find the finish, it was just fantastic. And I think with the celebration, the emotion, you could really see what it meant within the team.
Yeah, definitely. And for all the kids out there who were, get bored when they're at football training and they have to do drills where they go round the cones, in and out, in and out.
Yes,
that
definitely.
If you do it properly, that's where all Lauren could picture. They were just little cones to her that she was going round on the pitch. And so keep practicing, kids. It'll be worth it in the end.
Definitely.
Yeah, they played well, Reading. They had a great game plan. I mean, we missed a few sitters, to be fair, didn't we? Early on in the game, first half and second. When that one fell to Caroline Weir and she put it over the bar towards the end when it was still 0-0, you couldn't have asked for anyone better. You'd want it to fall to Caroline on the edge of the area. And when that went over, you start thinking, is it going to be our day? You know what I mean? So we were worried, obviously. You don't want to, we'd rather win 5-0 at a stroll, wouldn't we? But winning's all that matters now. And now we're down. We keep saying if we win every game, we would be champion. Well, there's only 4 games left now. We're ticking them off, and it's just about winning, isn't it? Really, more even than the performances in a way. If we get the 3 points. I
mean, Gareth will say, we're taking it game by game. I think that's kind of the standard sort of response when you're in a position like we are at the moment. I think there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to play for. It was a good response, really. Considering how well Reading played, and they used a lot of energy. They were quite high tempo. They were fighting for every ball. You can't discredit their effort and their application, because they really made it difficult for us.
They did. They made it into a really tough tie, and like Dave said before, Reading are a team that can beat anybody on the day. Yeah. Reading are a team that when you look at the fixture, it's going to be a tough game. They're going to play well. So I mean, like you say, we had the early chances in the game, few chances throughout. So it was just getting that one moment where everything came together to get the goal, and being patient for that, I suppose, as well. It's the players on the pitch patient and playing the football the way that they were playing it still, and carrying on and believing in the process of playing the game, whereas us at home were probably getting a bit more nervous as the time ticked on than they were.
Definitely. My heart rate was definitely increasing minute by minute. I definitely felt that, I can tell you. But yeah, it was unbelievable. Great bit of quality from Lauren, and massive in terms of the season campaign. We're still obviously keeping the pressure on the top of the table, and fighting hopefully for that title championship.
Well, yeah, that's all we can do. We can't influence like Chelsea's games or anybody else's games. We can only influence the games we're in.
Yeah.
And that's, so Gareth's right to just say one game at a time. So now he's focusing on Barcelona. As soon as that's over, whatever happens, he's got to refocus then for Tottenham away next weekend, which is just as important. Every game now is basically a cup final, every single game. I mean, we're all looking towards that Chelsea game, but we can't afford to slip up in the other games.
No.
Never mind the Chelsea. You've got to take it one game. I know it's an old cliche, one game at a time, but it's never been more true now than this season.
It was quite funny. Gareth Taylor was asked if he was going to be watching the Chelsea Aston Villa game, and he said no, just not interested, not bothered at all. We do what we do, and that is it. Simple.
That's it. I expect Chelsea to beat Aston Villa. Like I say, we can only affect our game as long as we win. If we win all our league games, It doesn't matter. And that includes, obviously, the Chelsea game. But we've got to get to it. So we've got to take each game as it comes. I think he's doing exactly the right thing. You mentioned before, Emma, I think what he has done brilliantly, especially since Christmas, is this rotation, keeping everybody fit, ticking over. I think he's done it brilliant. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. Like I say, especially since Christmas, because it's kept the team fresh and hungry. Everybody wants to get in and get in this team. And when they've come in, they've all done a good job as well.
Absolutely.
They've all played well.
Absolutely. And obviously there's a lot to draw on now heading into obviously Wednesday's game, the second leg tie against Barcelona, 3-0 on aggregate in favour of Barcelona. So what we're going to be hoping from the squad on Wednesday in terms of application, we've talked already about hopefully coming out and getting that early goal. I mean, it's difficult to say who we're going to see within that starting 11 come Wednesday, but it's going to be a big performance required at the Academy Stadium.
Yeah, it is. You know, we need to come out, we need to perform well. I think from my point of view, what I want to see is people who are playing positively. And you know what? We can't affect what happened in the first leg now. So it's going out and in the first part, just winning that second leg. And not letting our heads go down if it don't go well, so people kind of playing how we know they can play, to make sure, because like you said, you don't want it to affect the rest of the season. You don't want, if we do go out on Wednesday night, you don't want it to affect how we're performing in the league and what that's doing there. So that does come down sometimes as well to the players, like we say, that are the leaders on the pitch and are the more experienced ones, to make sure that they're picking everybody up and make sure that they're kind of leading by example and making sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think if we can win the second leg on Wednesday, then that will mean we must have played well, because Barcelona are quality. So if we beat them, let's say for argument's sake 2-1, but still go out, like Jayne said, you can't affect the first leg, that's gone now. But if we were to beat Barcelona on Wednesday over the 90 minutes, that will mean that our team have played fantastically well to beat a world-class side. And that can only be good now, because it didn't affect us yesterday that we got beat last Wednesday. We played well and we kept the momentum going. We kept the league run going. So there's no reason why beating them on Wednesday, even if it was not enough to go through, would mean we've played really well against a world-class side. And that could only breed confidence going into the final. We've got an FA Cup tie, haven't we, against Aston Villa, and then the final league games. So yeah, that's what I would hope for Wednesday. Get an early goal, maybe put them under a bit of pressure. Let's win the leg and see what that does. If we put in a great display and still go out, I'm sure the fans will be happy that they've played well on the day. Disappointed that we've gone out. Let's just give it our best shot. I'm sure we'll go strong on it. I think he'll play a strong side. I don't think there'll be any resting of players, thinking about other games. I think he'll go for it.
And obviously we've been managing players' minutes as well. So like Sam Mewis, Rose Lavelle, Samway, Ellen White, they've not played the full 90. They've had some good time in recovery. They've been managing their fitness. So hopefully, we'll have a good, strong, fit side heading into this one as well.
Yeah, that's it. They should all still have enough petrol in the tank to make it a really competitive game. We've managed players well throughout the season, so hopefully that'll stand us in good stead.
Now the game goes on the day, could make you make a few changes, from the bench as well, things like that. It's all options. It's great to have a nice big squad, nearly all fit. We've only got a couple of injuries.
It's definitely a better position than last season, put it that way. Yeah. Well, I'd say enjoy the game, but I think it's going to be hard to enjoy it until we get that first goal, really. But looking forward to it all the same. Jayne, Dave, thank you both for joining me this week. Have a great week, and hopefully I'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Emma. Take care.
Bye.
You too, bye.
Bye.
And that's it for this week's episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks to Dave and Jayne for joining me on this week's show. We'll be back next week. Don't forget that Wednesday's game against Barcelona will be available to watch live via your City Plus subscription or BT Sport. Kickoff is 4 p.m. And all that's left to say is come on City, we're right behind you. We'll be back next week. Stay safe, everyone.